Mic check 1 2. It's the Y2K collector, and April was a blur, and the beginning of May has been a blur as well. But pretty much in that 5 to 6 week span is when I picked up pretty much all the games that you're looking at right here. Just this big, massive games. Now, I want to go through this as fast as possible, so I kind of broke them up into two sections. This grouping right here is the GameStop stuff. This is all the stuff that I got from GameStop, and the bulk of it is stuff that I got during their buy more, save more promotion. For those of you who don't know, GameStop ran a promotion where the more games you bought, if you bought 6 games or more, they were giving you 30% off all the games you bought on top of your 5% pro member discount. And you could also use any coupons or anything like that. So pretty much a lot of these games that you're looking at here, I was able to pick up for, at the minimum, 35% off of their price charting value. A lot of these GameStop already had underpriced, so they wound up coming in, some wound up coming in at 50% of price charting value or even lower. So this is a really great stack. Everything that you're seeing here is stuff that I got from lot purchases. So I bought 3 collections over the past 3 weeks. Well, technically 4 collections over the past 3 weeks. And I've already gone through and, sorted through the pieces of those collections that I wanted to keep. And a lot of the pieces that I didn't want, I've traded away to pick up other pieces to add to my collection. So to not take too much time in the video, we're gonna kind of blast our way through everything that we got from GameStop during the buy more, save more promo. And we're gonna start with the handheld stuff. So we've got Contra C or Operation C, and some of these games you may have seen in past videos. I can't keep track because I'm in rebuild mode, so some might be new, some might not be. But we had Operation C, Super Mario Land 2, we have Castlevania Adventure, and we have Tiny Toons 2 on the original Game Boy. And then for the Game Boy Color, we had Rampage 2, and we had Pokemon Pinball with the battery cover on there. So we had that. Then on the Game Boy Color, we also had Wario Land 2, which is a pretty cool pickup. And on the Game Boy Advanced, we had Sonic Battle, we had Sonic Advance 3, we had Mario and Luigi Saga, we had Kirby's Nightmare in Dreamland, we have Super Street Fighter 2, Golden Sun, and Lilo and Stitch 2. And also keep in mind that some of these games I picked up right before the promotion, so I had to do a return and a rebuy on some of these just to be able to get those extra discounts. Then we have some 3DS games. We have Sonic 3D Classics Collection Complete. We have Final Fantasy Rhythm, it's like this Rhythm Final Fantasy game, Mario and Luigi Dream Team, and then Devil Survivor Overclocked. So we have those 3DS games. Not a huge 3DS guy, but did get those. I also picked up some Switch games while the promotion was going on, including Metroid Dread, Streets of Rage 4, and Valfaris. Wanted to take advantage of some Switch games that I wanted to get back to the collection. We definitely had some Super Nintendo pickups as well. So we had Yoshi's Island, which we picked up, Donkey Kong Country 3, Batman Returns, The Legend of Zelda, and Doom. So some really solid pickups there as well. So was glad to add those. And mind you guys, just keep in mind, these are not all the games that I picked up. These are just like the handful that were within reach that I could just grab to do this video. I did have some PlayStation 3 pickups as well. So we picked up Eco, Dragon's Crown, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutants in Manhattan. These are the only 3 PS3 games in my collection. I wasn't really collecting for the PS3, but again, when you're getting 30% off games that are already really cheap, because these were all like fairly inexpensive, I felt like it was a good time to pick up only the PS3 games that I really wanted to add back to the collection. So those were ones that I added back. Many of you probably have already seen these N64 games because I think I put these in a different video, so I'll show them again really quickly. But these were all purchased during the Buy More, Save More promo. So you've got Chameleon Twist, Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask, Mario Golf, Snowboard Kids 2, Mortal Kombat 4, and Super Smash Bros. So these were just really amazing pickups to get my hands on during the promo. Was psyched to get my hands on that. We also had a couple Genesis games, so Shadowrun and Contra Hard Corps. You know, I typically like to get my Genesis games complete in box, but when they're coming in at like $20 for these games were like $25 a piece or so, which for these games is really good, even loose. So went ahead and grabbed those as well. Then we got a couple PSP games. We have Metal Gear Solid Portable Ops and Final Fantasy Crisis Core. I think this one actually wound up being free, if I'm not mistaken. But 2 complete in-box PSP games, not bad at all. And then just sticking with PlayStation handhelds, we got a bunch of PlayStation Vita games during this run. And I'll just lay them all out here for you. So we got our hands on... So we got The Firefly Diary, we got Tokyo Xanadu, Mary Skelter, we got Ease, Soul Sacrifice, Velocity 2 Times, and Sly Cooper Thieves in Time. So like I said, some of these I did return rebuys on, and you know, some of them I actually got like at the beginning of April, but I got a lot of PSP games during the month of, PS Vita games rather, during the month of April, adding back to the Vita collection for sure. And I also got a Vita console, so that was pretty cool. I also got a copy of Gravity Rush. I just don't have it here. But like I said, these are not all the games that I picked up. Was able to get a complete in-box copy of Jurassic Park on the Sega Genesis. This is the soft version, or soft case, or cardboard case version of Jurassic Park on the Genesis. This is super interesting to see in store. I was just really stoked to find this at a GameStop. This was like $6 or something like that. So that was a pretty cool find. I did get some 360 stuff, stuff that I've been wanting to add back to the collection. Got my hands on a copy of Spider-Man Edge of Time. Got Splatterhouse back, Metal Gear Solid HD Collection, and Need for Speed Most Wanted. Need for Speed Most Wanted was actually, you know, like I think it was like $22 or something. When I put it into Game I was really shocked that this is like an $80 to $90 game. A few of you have told me that it's because of the music. Hey, it's whatever. I'm just glad I didn't pay crazy pricing for it. Spider-Man was like $30 or something like that. Splatterhouse was $25. These were all really cheap, right? Just because, you know, me taking advantage of the promotion, it was just a great way for me to add these back without having to pay full retail on this stuff. And that's just been my motto with GameStop, just trying to avoid paying full retail. We have some PlayStation 2 stuff here. So we have Mana Khemia, Persona 4, God of War 2, we have Genji, and God of War Greatest Hits Edition, as well as Zatch Bell on the PlayStation 2 as well. And these were all complete in box, in very good condition. The Zatch Bell does have the trading card, and Persona does have the soundtrack. So all really good stuff. God of War also has the second disc as well. So these were all really cool PS2 games to actually find and add back to the collection from GameStop during that promo. And then we have something really cool here. So a complete in-box Sega Genesis Mini. So pick this one up for like $35. This is actually a really cool pickup. I had this in my old collection, sold mine. I think this is one of the few minis that actually comes with 2 controllers, which I think is really sweet, and it has a bunch of classic Sega Genesis games. This used to be one of the cheapest mini consoles. For some reason, this has actually gone up. I'm seeing this trend somewhere between $110 and $150 is what this is selling for online, even pre-owned. So I'm not sure what the reason for that was, but I thought that this was really a really good deal, a really good way to just kind of add that back to the collection. And then I saved the last group because it was the largest group, and that is this stack of GameCube games. So crazy amount of GameCube games in the month of April and the beginning of May. So many GameCube games. They were all complete in box, and most of these games were picked up for around 40% of price charting value. In a lot of cases, you know, less than 50%. But really good deals here. So let's fly through them. So we have X-Men Legends, Turok, Custom Robo, Super Smash Bros. Melee. We have Star Fox Assault, Ultimate Spider-Man, Sonic Riders, Shadow the Hedgehog, Kirby's Air Ride. Oof. Then we have Sonic DX, Spider-Man again, or this is Spider-Man 2 rather, Spider-Man, Sonic Heroes, Crash Team, and then we have Super Mario Sunshine, Paper Mario, and Luigi's Mansion. So pretty much all of the like staple GameCube games were added back. These are just like the mainline GameCube games that I was able to add back to the collection. So really cool to find all of these in store, complete in box, really good stuff. And then last but not least, the one Wii game that we added back was Tatsunoko versus Capcom. This is like one of the few Wii games worth owning a Wii for. I take that back. There's some good games on the Wii, but this is definitely one that I wanted to add back. So was glad that I could get all of this stuff here. So I mean, just looking at it all here, a lot of really good stuff at a massive discount. So really glad about that. I'm gonna pivot real quick to some of these lots that I picked up, because these lots were also where I had a lot of success between April and the beginning of May. And I'm not gonna go through all of these games here because there is a lot to go through here, but we have a solid stack of PlayStation 2 and 360 games. Also some GameCube games down there that you could see. We've got the Silent Hill 2 and 3 and 4 down there. We've got more GameCube games, Billy Hatcher, the Mario Party games, some really cool stuff there. Here in this stack, we got Ape Escape 2, Nightshade, some really interesting stuff on that. And then also just some more good stuff, Nightmare Before Christmas, Mortal Kombat, Suikoden 3, some really interesting titles there as well. Got some really interesting Super Nintendo and N64 stuff during April and the beginning of May, including Bomberman 64 Seconds. I think you guys have seen that one on the channel already. So Bomberman, Conker's Bad Fur Day, a couple rare SNES games, Lufia 2, Kirby's Dream Land. This is one that I was not expecting to get my hands on this year, but a complete in-box copy of Pokemon Soul Silver in an acrylic case with the Pokewalker. So this was actually a really interesting one. And again, like, I realized that you're only really gonna get stuff like this when you buy entire collections. You kind of have to buy entire collections to get your hands on like that real good stuff. So buying collections is actually working out for me right now. So that is cool. Then also got my hands on this, which I thought was really interesting. So this is the Resident Evil 4 GameStop edition for the GameCube. This is kind of like it was a very limited release on this here. So this was actually interesting. This one I'm actually thinking about keeping in the collection. I actually had 2 of these. I sold one already. A lot of people want Resident Evil stuff. So, but I sold one of these. I'm keeping this one for now. So we'll see where that goes. And then I also got my hands on a lot of Sega I'm gonna pull them here into the light, but Sega CD games, right? So we have Lunar, here we have Lunar Eternal Blue, very clean copies of the Lunar games, very sick. I got Pop Full Mail back. I remember when I sold my copy of Pop Full Mail, it was like, man, you're never gonna find another copy of Pop Full Mail. And I found an even better condition copy of Pop Full Mail than the one that I had before. This one is super clean. All of these have the foam insert. They're all extremely clean. I got They back. I was never expecting to get They back. They got some interesting new ones as well. So we have a Dark Wizard on the Sega CD. We have Sonic CD. A cool one, not a must-have, but it was cool to actually have. And then this is the one that I'm really eager to try out, and that's Shining Force CD on the Sega CD. There's so much glare from the light on that. Let me see if it's, yeah, so there's a lot less glare here, yeah. So Shining Force CD, I have to clear some space on my Sega CD to play this one. Either that or get a Sega Genesis RAM cart. I don't have a RAM cart yet, but I'm gonna get one. But yeah, I would say that the heavy hitters in this collection for sure are gonna be the Pop Full Mail and the Shining Force CD. So these were 2 ones that I was really stoked to add to the collection. The Lunar games, of course, are always great to have on the Sega CD, but was just really stoked to actually add these 2 back. So these were cool. And then I had some video game store pickups in April as well. I'll show them to you. They were primarily Sega Genesis games. So we had Batman on the Sega Genesis, Wings of War on the Sega Genesis, Revenge of Shinobi. And again, some of these, you may have seen some of these in prior videos. I'm just trying to do a really quick recap. But Wings of War added there. We had Truxton that was added back to the Sega Genesis collection. We had Wolverine, and these are all complete in box and really good condition. So we have Wolverine, Adamantium's Rage, that was added back to the collection. We've got Golden Axe, complete with the manual and the poster in this. Was really stoked to have that. We have Altered Beast back in the fold. This one I'm super glad to have back. Ghouls and Ghost. I remember I got my copy, my old copy, I got it from GameStop in Long Island. I was really sad to sell my old copy, man. I'm glad to get this back and in great condition. It's hard to find good condition copies of Ghouls and Ghosts with clean manuals. I don't know why, but for me, it just seems like it's hard. We also added back Lightning Force, which was great to add back as well. And we have Thunder Force 3. So two of my favorite shoot 'em ups on the Sega Genesis. I have them back in the sheepfold. Lightning Force and Thunder Force 3, two really awesome games. So again, there's a lot that I'm still sorting through and going through. There are pieces that are being added to the collection. I still have a few pieces that need to, kind of get put up for trade or for sale. But this is how I'm rebuilding the collection in 2025. Look at me. Sorry, in 2026. This is how I'm rebuilding the collection. I'm buying collections. Buying collections is working, I guess it's kind of turning me into a reseller because I have to sell the stuff that I don't really want out of the collection to pay for the stuff that I do want. But if that's the case, then so be it. But buying collections just works because you get more interesting games, you get more interesting stuff. People are more willing to give you deals when you buy in bulk than when you just try to go in and cherry pick all their good stuff and then want a crazy discount on only the good stuff. No, you got to buy the whole collection and then, process through what you want and then sell the rest. So let me know how you guys have been faring. I know SoCal Gaming Expo is coming up, and that's the other part of the reason why I really wanted to blast my way through and get my hands on all the stuff that I really wanted now, because I know when conventions happen like SoCal Gaming Expo, a lot of the good stuff tends to exchange hands between resellers and people who have stores, and the deals that you would get from just an everyday collector kind of disappears with that, because now you have to pay, reseller pricing, eBay pricing, store pricing, stuff like that. And, just trying to network and work in your local area just tends to work out better. So shout out to the plugs. Shout out to everyone who I've been doing these collection deals with and these collection purchases with. I appreciate you working with me, and definitely more to come. I will catch you in the next one. It's the Y2K Collector. Take it easy.